Protocol I chose for this assignment is File Transfer Protocol, a guide for beginners. The objectives of this PowerPoint: the history of File Transfer Protocol, or FTP. What is FTP? The applications of FTP. What is FTP client and server? How to transfer files using an FTP client. FTP security and vulnerabilities. The future of FTP. And lastly, I have provided an example of a file transfer in FileZilla. So the history of File Transfer Protocol. FTP is one of the simplest and earliest formats created to quickly move files from one device to another. In 1971, Abhay Bhushan created the first version of FTP, and it has been around now for over 40 years. FTP has seen significant changes in encryption standards and file transfer functionality. In 1980, the FTP format was updated to the TCP/IP version associated with all servers. So what is File Transfer Protocol? It is a widely used network protocol for transferring files between computers over a TCP/IP-based network such as the Internet. FTP lets people and applications exchange and share data within their office spaces and across the Internet. It is the second most protocol used today. HTTP www is first. The two primary uses for FTP are hobbies and teaching. FTP is a casual way to introduce beginners to Internet protocols, making it a good starter tool. The other primary use is that FTP moves a larger number of server files in-house. Some IT professionals may use FTP when moving server files within a closed system. By doing this, there is no concern regarding security, and it might be the easiest way IT professionals know how to move large amounts of files. Applications of File Transfer Protocol. File Transfer Protocol is used in many day-to-day business operations that span business-to-business and peer-to-peer data transfer use, including organizations that use this protocol to allow file sharing between employees from different locations and offices. Employees use FTP to securely share files with coworkers and business partners. IT teams use FTP to transfer data back to disaster recovery sites. Webmaster teams use FTP to transfer web pages, web application files, and images to their server. So what is an FTP client? A few decades ago, FTP clients were just CLIs, or command line interfaces. Today, the clients are easier to use interfaces to facilitate and simplify file transfer. FTP clients are used for desktops, servers, mobile devices, web clients, and extensions to web browsers. Using an FTP client such as FileZilla or CyberDuck, uploading and downloading a file is easy. So what is an FTP server? An FTP server can support active and passive connections with the FTP client. An active connection is when a client opens a port and listens while the server actively connects to it. A passive connection will happen when the server opens a port and listens passively, which allows clients to connect to it. A passive connection is more secure and is also preferred by IT administrators because data connections are made from the FTP client to the server. This method is more reliable for avoiding inbound connections from the Internet back into individual clients. In firewall deployments, all connections are made from the Internet to the server. Passive mode is known as a firewall-friendly mode, which is a mode that utilizes a single port and connects to a server. It also connects into a server from the Internet. Firewall friendly uses TCP, so may be inspected using a session-aware firewall. The more secure file transfer protocols, such as SFTP and FTPS, the more secure it becomes. How to transfer files using an FTP client. FTP works in a client-server model where an FTP server and client perform the file transfer. An FTP server is configured in the network, and a specified file storage location is identified to become the shared storage which will host the files you want to share. The end users will access this file server from FTP to copy the files to their local folder system. End users may also access their local folder system and upload files to the shared storage location. FTP requires a TCP/IP network to function and relies on the use of the clients. The client is the communicating agent to interact with the server to download or upload the files that you want. FTP security and vulnerabilities. FTP dates back to a time before cybersecurity was no more than hypothetical. FTP transfers are not encrypted. Many organizations use other protocols for file transfer because it's great for large file transfers and data exchanges. However, using unencrypted FTP leaves data vulnerable to hackers and security breaches. It would be easy to intercept files from anyone capable of packet sniffing. Many uses FTPS or SFTP for the reliability of their encryption. These work the same as FTP, but the files are encrypted. Some other security breaches would be brute force attacks. Is when hackers systematically check the frequently used and repeated passwords until they find the correct one, or possibly port stealing, when a hacker can guess the next open port or use a port command to gain access as a middleman. And anonymous vulnerability is when anonymous FTP servers can be accessed without a username or a password. The future for FTP, or the future of FTP. Support for FTP is declining due to there being better options such as SFTP that make more sense for security. FTP is phasing out of practical application. In 2020, Google Chrome made it to where FTP would be switched off by default for the first time. Version 82 was completely removed. In the spring of 2020, Firefox removed FTP from its code. Users will have to end up finding a different method to transfer their files. Example of a file transfer in FileZilla. The client server I use is FileZilla. Below, I'm going to take you through the steps on how to log in, select the file you want to upload or download, upload the file to the client server, or how to download from the server to your local drive. The process is fairly simple. Once you have entered your credentials, you choose the file or files you would like to upload to the client server, highlight the destination file by left-clicking on the mouse or on the mouse for a file and choose Upload. Once the file transfer is complete, you will receive a message on your desktop stating that the transfer was complete. If you already have the files on your computer, when you try to upload, you'll get a prompt asking if you would like to overwrite these files. Now, you can overwrite them for that one time, or you can overwrite them from that point on to forever if you want to. It all depends on how you want to overwrite it once, or always allow it when you're trying to overwrite automatically without giving you the prompt. To download files from the client server to your computer, you'll be moving them from the remote side to the local side. Then you would right-click on your mouse and choose Download Files. Going back up to uploading files, you want to right-click as you would if you were downloading. Right-click on the mouse. On the left side of the server, you'll see that your drive's under Local Site. The right side of the server is where the remote side is, and that's where you will transfer your files to, or if you were copying or you wanted to download files from the remote side to your local site. So the file structure after logging in, or even before you log in, you'll be able to see the local site. You won't be able to see the remote site until you log in. So once your credentials are put in, then the remote site will pop up. So if you want to upload from your site to the remote site, or should I say local site, you want to highlight what you want to transfer, to upload on the left, and on the right you're going to pick the destination. On your remote site you're going to pick your destination, but make sure to click a destination. It'll be grayed out. So once you have highlighted the local site file, you would right click on the actual file itself and then hit upload. Downloading from remote to local site, you're going to do everything pretty much the same, except you're going to be coming from the remote site and going into your local site. So you're going to right click on the file you want to download, and also make sure that the destination file is highlighted but grayed out. So in conclusion, in this presentation we covered FTP history, applications, FTP client and server, how to transfer files using an FTP client, FTP security and vulnerabilities, the future for FTP, and an example on utilizing the client-server FileZilla. As you can see, file transfer protocol procedures are easy to follow for beginners or new students.